This is my final moments of being an FCS driver. For 1 year now, I have been a NASCAR FedEx Cup Series driver. As a champion, a winner, and a, a legend to the series, um, it's really just been a roller coaster of emotions for the year's worth of racing that I've had. It was just way too toxic. It was just not a healthy environment with all the screaming, all the controversy. Uh, Basically, how everybody has acted for these last couple of months. Um, since about I think November, beginning of November, the FedEx Cup Series was a calm, normal racing series. It was a clean environment. Nothing, no controversy at all. Just hard, clean racing. At the time, I drove the number 66. Um, and we, my first race was the second race of the season. I raced at Las Vegas. And it's a great race. We wound up finishing fifth with a stage two win in my first ever start. It was a great start to a career that would go farther than anyone would expect. I don't think when I stepped into the situation when I got into the situation, I didn't think how far it would actually go. I thought this would be ended at about after Christmas, but I never knew that I'd make friends that would last this long and would last to maybe, you know, the friends that I've made and the relationships that I built have lasted me a way longer time than I've actually thought, and it's proceeding to go even further. Um, I would just like to say, for example, dirty racing was not even half of the reasons that I left. There was also some personal reasons with mental health and physical health. Uh, I don't I don't think anybody should threaten self harm to anybody or or even themselves for just literally a video game. Um, as a champion, it doesn't mean anything uh, to win it. It's maybe a pat on the back, maybe a shout out, maybe about 5 subscribers added to your channel if you have one. But it's nothing. Doesn't mean you have talent. No one really, no one really thought I would win the championship with only having about at the time one win at Atlanta Motor Speedway. That was my fourth start, so that was really cool. That was just that season one. The whole season one was just one emotion, and it was happiness. Um, I never thought that I would again go this far, and you know, never never knew that I would become a champion at one of my best tracks ever, Talladega Super Speedway. People are going to say it was a Mickey win. Even my teammates said it was a Mickey win. A win's a win. A win's a win. Um, so Um, yeah, season two started off amazing. Won the Daytona 500 at my home track. My first ever NASCAR race was at Daytona. My second Cup Series race that I've been to was the Daytona 500, which Austin Cindric won. It was a great event, and it was a great race overall. Lasted to about 1 o'clock in the morning, but you know, races take time. These things take a lot of time. Um, so after that, we had a consistency of top 10 runs. One of them being the race right after Auto Club. Then we almost won Las Vegas, but we got a second place finish. After that, I think it was Phoenix. We also almost won that, but we didn't. That's okay. Doesn't mean we had to give up because we didn't give up. After that, we had Bristol, finished second there. We were the points leader for a longer time than I actually think. After Bristol, we had Atlanta, which was my lowest ever finish at the time, which was a 10th. And we ran up front, had the fastest lap for most of it, and you know what? Uh, it's okay. I was frustrated. I was mad, but you know what? It's uh, it's life. It's racing. Move on. Um, After Atlanta, we had I honestly don't know after Atlanta, but we had a few more races. I guess I can just skip to the end of the regular season. Uh, so um, the regular season, um, the rate like race to Daytona 2, which was the Coke Zero 400, was a it was an odd race. I was definitely one of the favorites um after winning, the 500. It was, of course, I was one of the favorites. No doubt that my teammates would be fighting for a playoff spot. I already had a definite playoff spot, basically just for Daytona and the beginning of the season. For the end of the season, end of that regular season, I just kind of sucked, had a major drop off. Um, so yeah, it was it was just didn't work out. But I knew when I took the green flag, ending that regular season, that we'd go far. So we won both stages and the race. Um, but the one thing I've never done before is accidentally wreck someone for a win. That night, Southern Farms could have won that race. I pulled a late block and it must have lagged. My spotter said it was clear, and I wasn't. Southern Farms went spinning, I guess sliding into the grass. He wound up saving it, coming back up the racetrack. Um, and I won that race. I wasn't happy. I didn't deserve it. I won. I didn't want to, but my greed and my toxicness just took over me. My anger just took over me, and I felt a side that I never thought I'd never see, and that was I was too eager to win. Of course, in real life, you might be saying, "Oh, rail fan." Yeah, I mean, you have to have that to win a real race. This isn't a real race. is a video game. It doesn't mean you have talent. It doesn't mean that you need to get angry. It's basically a hobby. It's no different from you playing a game of Fortnite or like online or playing a game of Roblox online. It's just a NASCAR game. You could get accessories like my wheel back there, but it doesn't mean that maybe you win that Fortnite game or maybe you're one of the highest levels or you have the most money in that Roblox game, but doesn't mean that you're any more special than anybody else. I mean, my name isn't famous. Uh, I don't think any of you guys are that famous. Not famous enough for you to be known globally around the world. Um, yeah. So we skip a little bit into about mid playoffs. Homes in Miami, we had won just by one of the closest finishes that season with me and Bryce. Uh, I had the third position on the restart, and Southern Farms tried moving to the inside and to block me. I guess trying to maybe get back at for Daytona, and I just moved up. He moved up. Then I went back to the bottom, just a little crossover move. Got past him. Take the white flag. We get close enough to Bryce on the back stretch, or I guess the front stretch. I draft him. Then I move up, then move back down. My car handled really good, and then a caution came out, and we just edged him out to the line. Um, yeah. Next race was I'm pretty sure Talladega, which is another race that I dominated, and then some guy named Ross fan had to ruin that race, and a lot of other people's race that were looking to go further in the playoffs. Luckily, I had won both stages, so I still had enough points, but I could have got eliminated. We wound up finishing, I think, seventh that race, getting wrecked from the lead because the one car cut the whole track and just came back up the field, up the racetrack, and wrecked the field. So, but I moved on. I was angry. I was pissed off. Gotta move on. Let's skip forward to Chicagoland. Chicago was probably one of the most competitive races I have ever raced in. So much on the line. So much. But, I mean, we wound up getting wrecked by two of the championship four drivers, Bryce and Ethan. I got I guess I don't think it was their fault or their intention, but it's just a game. But I was angry. I was pissed off. I left. I got really really upset. I was you know I was like cursing like a sailor. I was mad. I was really really mad. My teammate Dizzy Cat, who was also in the final four, he got wrecked. He got screwed over. We both did. We're on the same team. We were racing for the same exact thing, and we lost. But that's a part of winning. You have to know how to lose. Some of the best drivers in the sport are not just, because they were good at winning. You have to be good at losing to be good at winning. Because winning feels so good after you lose those races. You have to accept those consequences to actually win like that. And that's why my underdog championship became such a loved championship, and that's why I became such a famous driver. We go to season 3. I missed the Daytona 500, which is it was disappointing, but I mean I got to meet two role models of mine, Harrison Burton and Ryan Preece, who I've seen raced for a while at that point, which was about 3 years for their careers. They weren't really uh, that famous, and they didn't really race too much. But I still got to meet them, still got to get some autographs, some pictures. Really cool. Um, we went to Auto Club, and I finished 14th, which was my worst finish ever. Um, and I wasn't mad, I wasn't frustrated, I was disappointed, but I conquered my anger. I kept it back, and we went to Las Vegas, almost won that. Got wrecked for another win, and we finished ninth. Wound up restarting that race, but we did win a stage, so we got some points. Uh, let's fast forward to Dover. Now, Dover had a lot of I can't really find another word for it but hype. I don't really like to use that word, but it had a lot of hype. It was an amazing track to a lot of these drivers. And at the time, private lobbies were not working ever since I discovered that on one of my later live streams. And I had to let Ethan Tremler know about that. And so the Dover race was going to be on a public lobby. We had to go through a whole rigmarole, and we had to like make some stuff, arrange some stuff and make some stuff happen, and yeah, and you know we wound up winning that race. Led only 5 laps. I think that was some of the most laps led that were actually green flag. Um, and then right after that, we went to Texas. Dominating finish, led 65 laps out of 84. And we won that. And I feel like that was one of the moments where I actually became an elite driver, where I can win anywhere basically. And I'm gonna stop motion. I'm just letting you know I will be answering your questions later, but I will, for this part. You know what? I am going to be racing in the FedEx Truck Series. I do think that is not such a toxic environment, and I'm not going to get screamed at for being an idiot, or for just a simple game, a simple racing game. Um, then after Texas, we fast forward to the All Star race, which was a great race. Um, I really, the All Star race was again another race that was so big. Everybody wanted it so bad, and we won it at Watkins Glen, one of my best road courses. I've always been a great road course racer, and I've always studied the um, the racing. For being an IMSA fan and for going to the Rolex 24. I've always loved that type of racing. I've always been a great fan of AJ Allmendinger. But we wound up winning that, and Bryce, who was running second, got really, really upset, and he got mad because again, like, I beat him, I edged him out by that much, and I won, but again, we have to think this is still no points, and it's a game. Doesn't matter. I got a simple interview after, and the interview didn't mean anything. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Um, then we go to the next race, which is the Coca-Cola 600. Wound up winning that. Led only 1 lap, which is again the Mickeyest win I've ever had. So yeah, that was my last win, and we have Atlanta, which we didn't have so good of a finish, but we still wound up winning a stage, which put me to the points lead in the playoffs. And then we went to Indianapolis, and I got screamed at for being an idiot for just pulling a late block coming to the checkered flag, and I was really upset, and I found out about an hour after the race had ended, and after that checkered flag dropped, that my best friend Dizzy Cat had left the series. About 5 seconds after that news, I had given the news that I would be leaving. Um, I am not. I don't think I really regret it. I'm hoping to have a one-off at some point. I'm still trying to work that out with some other people, but for now, I'm done. Hanging up the helmet for my full-time Cup Series ride. Um, Really, this is again this whole journey that has lasted about a year's worth. Um, I I don't know. It was just an emotional roller coaster. Um, it's sad. Trust me, all day I was just been thinking about what I'm going to say. What am I gonna how am I gonna announce this? What am I gonna do after today? I have nothing else to do. I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So that's it. Now, before I joined the FedEx Cup Series, I had been a very lonely person and have been and before I moved to Florida, I'd been suffering from major depression for being lonely and being made fun of. I went to public school at the time, and I remember just being threatened to be killed because of my skin color, or like just standing up to simply just to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and because I love America. No matter the views, I love my country. Um, and it just sucks to go through whatever all I've been through. I mean, literally, my house was after a hurricane. My house was completely flooded, and now I live in an apartment. Um, just to go through just to go through everything. I mean, it's hard. I lost my dog. Just moved to Florida since they didn't allow at before we got the house. They didn't tell us that that breed what my dog breed was not allowed, even though they said it was fine on paper, and just so we can move in since it was a bad house. Um, uh, and I was just really sad. I was just I didn't know what to do. I'd watch NASCAR, and I feel that was basically like whenever whenever I be behind the wheel of a go kart, or whenever I go to a NASCAR race, that would be the only time uh that's the only time I'd be actually relaxed and actually happy. That's what I wanted to do. Uh, Joining the FedEx Cup Series really showed me how to actually make friends. I just moved to a new school at the time, which is my school now. It's a private school, one of the best schools in Florida. Since some people actually from there go to some of the best colleges in the United States. Some of them even out of the country, and some people from there become directors of NASA, which is also in my home state, which is Florida. um, yeah, it's sad, but really, if I didn't make the moves that I did, I would be nothing. I would literally just be some lonely guy. Just don't know what I'd be doing. Don't know what situations I'd be in. But I'm happy. I'm happy what I've done for all the times that we had. I am still I am still I'm still a driver, but not in the FedEx Cup Series. Um, to my fans, to my friends, to my family, to my teammates, and to everybody else watching the stream. As I wrap up my time of being a FedEx Cup Series driver, I would just like to say thank you. Goodbye.